At first, the skill menu in Horizon Forbidden West might be a bit overwhelming. There are 6 playstyles, all with multiple unlocks, even special Valor Surges you can upgrade multiple times. But don't worry though, because you can get all the skills in the game, but only if you do all the side content, which next to leveling up also rewards you with some nice extra skill points. Still though, it will be a while before you get everything, so it's already smart to focus on some super important ones early on, which will then help you throughout the rest of the game. Like for example, improving the herbs first is really smart, because this once again the main way to heal yourself, so maybe not super exciting, but it is smart to spend some early skill points in the Survivor skill tree. The first skill, Potent Medicine, lets you heal more and faster while still using the same herbs, and we also have Medicine Capacity, which you find a bit below, that lets you carry more berries, which also really handy. Potion Proficiency is nice for if you like to use a lot of potions. They can overheal you, by the way, this time, so you get extra protection, especially handy against the larger machines. Although in my experience on the normal difficulty, you will mostly be fine with the herbs. So getting the Plant Forager is amazing, so you get 2 herbs per pickup instead of 1, and you also increase the loot for other plants you pick up. I unlocked this very early on in the game, so then you end up with an almost infinite amount of herbs in your stash. As of course every herb you pick up while your inventory is full will be directly sent to this bank. Now for combat, I immediately went with the warrior, but I would only recommend it if you, like me, are just curious about the improved melee systems. It's namely a game changer because there are a lot of active skills in this tree for some cool combos, and unlocking all of them is also needed for the melee pits you come across in different settlements. So it's totally nice to unlock them at one point, but overall there's only really one warrior skill I think you need to get, and that is the burst fire weapon technique for the warrior bow. Because I personally really fell in love with this new smaller bow. You can find them with elemental ammo as well, and with this skill you instantly load up 3 arrows of the ammo you currently have selected, so you can very quickly freeze enemies at the start of the fight, especially handy against flying machines before they are like moving around and harder to hit. And once the machine has an elemental effect, you can also use regular arrows of the warrior bow with the burst fire skill for basically shotgun hits. Sure, you will need to craft your ammo often when using this technique, but this tactic helped me out a lot, especially in combination with a special Valor Surge that I will touch on in a moment. Of course, if you liked the video so far, then leaving a like on it would really help me out, and subscribe for way more Horizon Forbidden West videos like this. Now, the best combat skills that I would really recommend to anyone are in the Hunter skill tree. We talked about the amazing burst fire weapon technique already, and for these special attacks you need stamina, which you can enhance with the skills you find in this tree over here, like Weapon Stamina Plus and Stamina Regen, so you fill that orange bar faster and can use these attacks more often. And in the Hunter skill tree you also find a lot of great weapon techniques you really want to unlock, like the Triple Notch, so you can load up to 3 arrows with a Hunter bow, which you might know from the first game. So they nerfed it now because it costs stamina to perform this action, but it's still very strong to fire 3 arrows of one type to the enemy. And pro tip, you can still load up these arrows and then switch to another weapon like the spike thrower right here. If I then switch back to the same ammo type for the Hunter bow, I still have the 3 arrows loaded up. So yeah, this tactic still works as long as you do not switch ammo on the Hunter bow. Again, amazing for dealing a lot of damage in one go against an enemy's weak point, for example, or making sure that an enemy gets the elemental effect faster. Using the concentration helps with this, of course, as well, so you can use the technique more often. And the slow motion while aiming remains one of the best ways to take on machines also in the Forbidden West. So enhancing that with the Concentration Plus, Concentration Regen, and Deep Concentration in the Hunter skill tree is amazing. Like I already said, the Hunter skill tree is great all around. You also find Ammo Expert here, which lets you craft more ammunition from the same amount of resources. Similar to the herbs, having this early on, make sure that you keep more resources throughout the game. And brand new is crafting ammo at the workbench, which you unlock with the workbench expert skill. So before you got the skill, you cannot do this, but once you have it, you can actually craft ammo at the workbench for less resources. So it's always smart to get it into your system that before going on the next hunt, you first go to one of the shelters and craft resources there. The only sad part is that more rare materials like volatile sludge and metal bones are not reduced in cost. So you will still need to buy them often at weapon shops, and you can already do that even in Chain Scrape. It does apply to less rare materials though, like metal shards, chill water, blaze, etc. So totally craft ammo at the workbench when you can. Now there is one extra weapon technique in this hunter skill tree that totally deserves your attention, as it makes the new bolt blaster weapon way better. And then I'm talking about sustained burst attack. With this, you unleash your entire bolt blaster clip in rapid succession onto the enemy, and with the upgraded concentration, you can do this entire attack in slow motion, which also helps you with your aim. So this is amazing in combination with the Ice Storm bolt blaster I talked about in my Things You Want to Get Early video, which I will link to at the end of this one. If you use the weapon technique with this bolt blaster, you can build up the status effect really quickly. The only downside is the large stamina cost and the fact that if you get hit during this attack, you will stop. You luckily do not lose ammo. While your clip will be empty, the ammo you still had left over will go to your reserve, so just reload to have it again. So overall, timing is key here. When you do the attack, make sure that enemies are unable to hit you for a brief moment. And I totally want to go more in depth on all the weapon techniques when we had more time to try them all out, but one more shout out is for the splitting spike weapon skill for the spike thrower. I also told you how to get a spike thrower in that previous video. Again, link to it at the end of this one. So this weapon is already great from the get-go, but with this weapon technique, you just throw the spear like you normally would, but then it splits into multiple ones mid-air. So amazing for larger machines, and also kind of needed because they are easier to hit. So while I would normally say ignore the machine skill tree until later on in the game, you can already spend the few skill points that are needed to get this weapon technique. And actually the 3 skills that you need to unlock to get the splitting spike are pretty nice when on a mount, for example. Another big thing in the skill trees are the Valor Surges. You need to unlock all the skills surrounding these abilities in order to unlock them, equip them, and they can activate them with R1 when pulling up the weapon wheel. You do need Valor, so the purple bar needs to be filled in order to do these abilities, and there is, by the way, Valor on impact in the Survivor skill tree, which is also nice if you like to use these powerful attacks, because normally you do not get any Valor from being hit, but this skill changes that. And if you unlock the second node for this skill, then you get as much Valor from being hit compared to hitting a weak spot. So really great in harder encounters, so you're able to use these abilities more often. Overall, my tip would be to just focus on one you like early on and upgrade that one, because upgrading it does increase the power by a lot. Just do not spend skill points into other Valor Surges at the same time, especially early on, because it will cost you a lot of skill points that you can way better use on individual skills, and you can only use one Valor Surge at one time anyways. So there's one nice one in the hunter skill tree called Power Shots, increasing the damage, which can be nice as you will be investing in this skill tree anyways. My personal favorite right now though is the critical boost, because this increases my crit chance and damage of the critical hits, which is amazing with the really fast warrior bow. After machines are covered in elements, you can go crazy. I will go more in depth on this tactic in a future video, but yeah, I would say it's totally worth investing into this one. Just subscribe for everything Horizon Forbidden West if you haven't already. A like on the video would be awesome, and check out that previous video by clicking on the screen on amazing things, including legendary items you can already get relatively early on. For now though, I will speak to you in the next one. Goodbye.